What's going on, guys? This is Mikeinoid, and today we'll be taking a look at the PlayStation Vita in 2024. So I actually got my first PlayStation Vita back in 2020. This was Sony's last handheld, dedicated handheld that came out in 2011 in Japan and was the main competitor to the Nintendo 3DS. Now, I always wanted a Vita back when it was being sold in retail, but never got one because I was not only a dumb, unemployed kid, but I was actually turned off by some of the features of the Vita that we'll talk more about later. I did get the Vita 2000 model, also known as the Vita Slim, and the reason I chose this one over the 1000 model is not only because it has a better form factor, because it's slimmer, but it uses micro USB to charge rather than the proprietary cable that the 1000 uses. The reason I finally decided to pick up a Vita was for two reasons. One, to play Persona 4 Golden, and two, for the modding capabilities of this device. I played the absolute out of this Vita. I beat Persona 4 Golden twice, and I basically put a bunch of retro games on here. I actually played and beat Metroid Fusion on this because emulating Game Boy Advance games are so good on this system. Now, from what I remember, modding my Vita wasn't too bad. It took a while for me to do because this was actually the first system I ever modded, so I was praying that I just didn't break the damn thing. This was all back in 2020 when modding your Vita required a computer for the process. It's now 2024 and times have changed. It's now possible to mod a Vita system, no PC required. So I went ahead and bought myself a second Vita. Well, technically third. I forgot about the PlayStation TV. As you can see, this is the PlayStation Vita 1000 model, the OG version that has the proprietary charging port, the accessory port that was never really utilized, but most importantly, you got the OLED screen. Now, I bought this for about 90 bucks on eBay, which I'm actually surprised about. Usually these handhelds go for over $100. And this handheld I have here is in pretty good condition. The only wear and tear I mostly see are the tiny scratches on the back of the device and this kind of orange coloring in the corners of the screen. I did some research and apparently this is screen burn. When the same color is being shown for too long on an OLED screen, it will burn into the screen and it can only really be fixed by replacing the screen. Thankfully, you don't see this when you're playing and it's only noticeable when the Vita is turned off and you shine it under some light. With this Vita being thicker than the Slim model, this should be a lot better to hold. And one thing that surprised me about the 1000 model is that it's actually lighter than I thought it would be. It's still noticeably heavier than the Slim model, but I thought the silver band that goes around the Vita was metal and it's just shiny plastic. Just like my Vita Slim, I wanted to mod this 1000 model. And like I mentioned before, you actually no longer need a PC to mod your handheld. Everything is done on the Vita itself. Of course, you still should get a SD to Vita adapter and a micro SD card to use besides Sony's proprietary memory cards. Those Vita memory cards are the biggest reason I didn't get a Vita back in the day. They were unnecessarily expensive. They're still expensive, and this adapter just saves you a ton of money. I bought an 128 gigabyte micro SD card for 20 bucks, and the adapter was like 8 bucks, so 28 bucks in total. My brother in Christ, a 64 gigabyte Vita card goes for about $80. That's just being done with your money if you're gonna get that, man. Now, hacking the Vita starts with going to a website through the browser and you just go from there. I'll leave a link to the guide in the description if you want to try this out for yourself. It took me an hour at max to get this set up. I say the hardest thing for me was just trying to do everything in front of the camera. The cool thing about this modding method, besides it being PC free, is in fact that this gets you on firmware 3.73, which allows you to use Adrenaline, the software that turns your Vita into a PSP. So I've had the Vita 1000 model for about a month now, and just like the 2000 model, this is a really great gaming handheld. With the Vita store closed and a bunch of physical games rising in price, I would say the Vita isn't really worth picking up just because of the financial debt this could put you in. But all you need is the console itself, the SD to Vita adapter, and a micro SD card, and this can actually be one of the cheapest ways to get into handheld gaming. you not only have the entire library of the Vita, but you have the PSP and PS1 games in the palm of your hand. I also been enjoying the fact that you can get custom themes on your Vita. Now that I've used both versions of the Vita, I can say that both are really good. You really can't go wrong with any of them, but I think I actually prefer the 1000 model over the Slim. And it's not because of the OLED screen, but the fact that it's a lot more comfortable to hold because of how much thicker it is to the Slim. Obviously, the Slim would be a lot easier to fit in a pocket and take it on the go, but if you're going to be playing an intense game like Killzone Mercenary, or play a game for hours upon hours like Ys 8, then most definitely you should go for the most comfortable model. Unless you have a grip for your Slim, then Slim all the way, baby. Well, that's going to be it for today's video. Let me know what you guys think of the PlayStation Vita down in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching, and of course, I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. I guess if you want to be technical, the PlayStation TV is more comfortable. I mean, you can use a PS3 controller.